Welcome to the Shoreline of Lake Michigan. Today we're starting a new challenge on the channel. It is one that was recommended by someone in our Discord. DJ Vieira recommended the farming challenge for goats. It is going to be 1,500 goats, $15 million net worth, debt-free, 100,000 liters of bottled goat milk stored. And that's a lot. It's a lot. And we're going to give ourselves 10 years to do it. So I wanted to show you guys how we're setting this up. So when we did the chicken challenge, we gave ourselves a $5 million line of credit to start with and got pretty much our end game equipment. And that wasn't, it was a test. And now I think I know a better way that I want to do it. So we're going to use the starter equipment on the Shorelines to Michigan map here. But we're going to take a look at everything we have. And, we don't need chickens, but it could be a revenue stream. So kind of thinking through it here. We don't need sheep. We want goats. But let's get this setup done. So jumping into my net worth tracker, 1.95 million. So we're going to write this number down. And that includes the $100,000 cash we have. Then we're going to come on into the line of credit mod. We're going to apply for a line of credit. Well, we're going to change it to sandbox mode to allow us to do this, but this is just to set it up. 1985552. We're going to draw all those funds. 1985552. And then we're going to come in here to easy development controls, and we're going to set our money to $100,000. So right now we're going to have a $22,000 monthly payment on this line of credit, which is, the number one challenge here to start with. We got to get debt free. So this equipment and the farmland was not free. So we do have the debt to start with. And now our net worth should show, net worth shows 0. So we start with a 0 net worth, working our way to 15 million, 1,500 goats, and 100,000 stored bottled milk. Well, let's get to know our farm a little bit. We have field 4 here that is ready to harvest. We have some wheat in it. So that's a good one to start with, but you can see a yield bonus only 37%. Over here, we have something that I believe will be able to feed our goats. Some alfalfa, 37% yield bonus as well. And it does look like it's ready to harvest. So then we have some corn over here. Looks like we have a plow. And we're going to sell some of this equipment that we don't need to give us a little bit of funding. Let's see what we got going on in here. We have 37% yield bonus. Growth stage 5 out of 7, but it's about 3 acres of corn. So that should be a good way to make some money. Looks like we potentially have a little bit of forestry there too. And right here, our soybean field, 37% yield bonus. So it looks like the corn and the soybeans will be ready to harvest at the same time. And different from the way we did the 10-year challenge for chickens, this one's absolutely counting as year 1. We have all of the fields established already. So it's like we had the spring to already do that part. So getting to know our equipment here. Looks like we have a nice tedder here. John Deere 3650. Oh, this windrower here should be nice. The Oxbow. We have the Pottinger forage wagon. The Great Plains solid stand. Cedar. Then we have another barn. Yeah, we have the semi over there, which we'll probably upgrade. We saw the red truck earlier. That looks like our grain cart here. And the Massey, the starter Massey harvester. The 8570. The grain trailer. It looks like we have a corn header here. The grain header and a corn header here. We do have the white. The 8510. The Fiat here. Pretty cool. That's the one that has the front loader on it. We have a pressure washer. There's our front loader set up, our sprayer. It looks like we have a planter here as well, the K brand planter. So a pretty good amount of things to start with. Start getting this prepped before we actually get going here and get the time started. What do we want to do now? So we could keep the chickens for some extra money. Just put a little bit of wheat into them, but I just... Let's see how much money we can get from these sheep. So if we come in here, we have different variety of ages. We're going to just sell them off. I might actually sell off this enclosure too, because you know, only being able to hold 32 is not going to work for this challenge. So we got that going. That made us 500 bucks, and we don't have to worry about them. But over here with the chickens, I am kind of tempted to make some money off of eggs for a little bit. We only have 5 in here. I just don't know if we want to concern ourselves with it. It's not part of the challenge. Let's go ahead and get rid of them. And, you know, we're going to make dollars here. Probably. It's all right, 36 bucks. And then, you know, taking liberties here. We're going to hop into the sky and instantly just say, yeah, we don't want this. Let's sell it, 24,000. That'll give us a payment here already. Chicken coop, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll do something else with this area eventually. And then let's look at our equipment because, you know, we don't use plows. So that might be the only thing that we're really going to think about selling right away. We'll start from the top here. Yeah, we'll keep the Agco white. The bucket, I don't know if we'll need. We have a spreader, we have the corn header, the Fiat, the planter, or the seeder, the sprayer, the truck, the semi, the John Deere 3650. The cultivator we'll need, the tedder we'll probably need, the mowing setup, the planter. Yeah, I think the only thing's the plow. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get our 13,000 for that. Oh, we do have the skid steer. Man, this is a big, expensive windrower. Well, we'll think about that a little bit. We'll see what we want to do with that. But let's go ahead, get the time rolling. Find just a nice natural spot to get rolling on this 37% yield bonus of a harvest. So don't expect great numbers from this, but I am playing with guaranteed crop prices, and it's just something I've been thinking about a little bit more. I don't necessarily like having to hold off on waiting for the perfect crop price. So I think that's something that for this challenge, we might as well just take advantage of that. It just makes sense to me. Instead of constantly watching the clock and selling at night all the time, just drives me nuts. I might do a thing where we wait till have just a selling event at the end of like a calendar year, just to kind of mix it up and make decisions on what we want to do with like feed and all of that. Might make sense. But yeah, we're playing with guaranteed crop prices for sure. But let's get this harvest done. This will be our first harvest on this new challenge, and I'm excited to get going. Goats are fun. We'll probably purchase some goats here probably after we get to that alfalfa cut and go from there. Yeah, one time around the headland, we did get 56% full here, 57%, so we probably won't make it around the other headland. I'm gonna have to figure out which tractor is actually the most powerful one, and we'll definitely use that. But let's go ahead and we'll just take this time, since we're so close to this grain trailer, to drop it off here. So if you're not familiar with the line of credit mod, it is one that I wrote. You can find it on my itch. We'll probably have a link in the description. So right now you're looking at the credit limit, and we have a 6% interest rate showing the monthly payment. The way that is calculated is we are running at a 120-month term, and we have this line of credit open for the entirety of the 10 years of the challenge. So a couple months off because we're going to lose the first 8 months. I'll adjust that in the XML later on in this, excuse me, later on in the series. But that's how this is calculated. So it is going to pay a little bit towards principal and interest, and we'll see that when the time comes next month. But as we start paying that off, we'll have the ability to take money out of it again if we choose to, or we can choose to just pay it off and get rid of it. So, you know, part of the challenge is long term, by the end of the challenge, we need to be debt free. But the line of credit, and before I forget, let's jump back in there, and we want to change this to default mode. We cannot take out another line of credit till we close this. And in default mode, it's going to be based off our current net worth, the amount that we can take out as a line of credit. Sandbox mode allows you to take up to, I think it's 100 million, and just really do whatever you want with it, really. Like a sandbox just to give you endless opportunities to start an amazing farm if you choose to, or as you build up your net worth, you can start taking out a line of credit and use it as you see fit, like a line of credit is. You know, some of the motivation behind creating that was the in-game loan system doesn't, you know, charge you principal. It's just an interest-only payment, so you technically could just pay that forever and not ever like work on paying it off, and you're just paying interest. Then there's other, mods out there. There's a new bank one that I kind of want to take a look at and see how it is, but there's other mods out there that are just loans. Nothing was really a line of credit at the time when I made it, so I thought it would be cool to have something that we can withdraw, we can pay, as quick as possible, or we can pay slowly. Gives you a lot of flexibility. So we're going to get focused here, finish this harvest, and try to get to that alfalfa cut in August as well. I have a little bit of plan on how we're going to make a ton of money up front on this series too. So we'll get to that in spring when time comes to plant, but we're trying, I'm just going to say it this way, trying to free up about $330,000 to be able to buy a production. Let's get focused. Get this going. We got some straw to pick up as well. Some money to be made. We finished that second headland and done a couple ups and downs, unloading again here. Let's try this out again. No, we're a little farther away. Yeah, that's an interesting decision. We're gonna have to swap that out. Now, does that have an extension on it that we can remove? It kind of looks like it does. You're gonna be 160 horsepower. Over here, you're 180. Yeah, we'll jump in this one. All right, do we have that? So let's go ahead and get the regular menu open here. I thought I did. Yep, right there. So if we come in here, yes, there is an extension. Let's go ahead and shut that off and we will customize that. And did we lose all the grain in there? We did not. Perfect. That's much better. So that will work. So that fixes that problem. No longer an issue for us there. And now we just got, a little bit of ups and downs here in the middle of this field to go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Not the biggest fields to start with, or at least this one's not, but absolutely good starting map here. A good amount of fields to start with, and, we made it fair. We are in debt, and we have to get out of debt to pay back for the equipment and land that we bought. So, should be an interesting challenge. Now, with the yield being as bad as it was, I do want to take a look at these two fields that aren't ready to harvest yet and see if there's any improvements we can make to them, because that's just not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not gonna cut it for me. 37% yield bonus. So we'll see, and we might shift to that. It is 10 o'clock. So yeah, we'll shift to that next, but let's go ahead and unload the wheat that we have here, get a final total for this harvest, which isn't going to be great. But while that's unloading, let's go ahead and run over to the soybean field and see what we can do. We won't be able to apply lime, but if there's weeds, we could treat the weeds. Growth, growing, fertilization 0. Can we sneak in 2 applications of fertilizer? So 20,026 liters, or 25,026 liters of wheat. Yeah, I had a feeling this was... We'll have to see if that John Deere has a little bit more horsepower. Oh, I guess we could have put it straight in the grain trailer. In the semi. And drop it off at the silo. So we have nothing that we necessarily need to feed, or animals that we need to feed with the alfalfa, so I'm not super concerned with getting it cut today. I'm more concerned with increasing the yield on these two fields. So we'll get that hooked up. We'll also... Well, do we have pallet forks? Just a bucket to start with, so we'll have to buy some forks. But we'll go buy some liquid fertilizer and bring some back with us. Totally brand new to this map. Everything that I've seen on it, you've seen as well at this point. Little dirt road to leave our property here. And then I think we'll, take a right on this road. That's a pretty cool complex there. Nice shed. Wonder if that's a farmland you could purchase. Looks like they have some cattle out there. Lots of cattle. Another alfalfa field. Looks like some houses in town as well here. Looks like our area where we're going to be selling goods. And a red light. What do we have in this field? Flowery catch crop. Fascinating. And it's ready to harvest. I wonder what that means. Huh. There is Lake Michigan. You know, I wanted to play on this map since I live on the right by Lake Michigan. It's about 2 miles down the road from me here. And I wanted to check it out and just see if it's possible to get both of these at the same time. I know we physically can do it, but can we weight-wise without tipping over? All right, so that's turned better now. I always find it tough to get a good angle on this stuff, camera-wise. That seems to do it. All right, let's find our way home. Gas pedal was struggling there for a second. Our 4,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. I don't know if we'll use all of it, but we definitely will eventually. And I'm gonna guess we can wander this direction home. Inspect the traffic lights. Let's see if they actually work. I mean, this is actually, like, the traffic light, adding that to the map's pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, green light, it means go. Nice. Looks like we have a Hickory Brook Farm sign welcoming us to our little dirt road that leads to ours. Pretty cool to see. Nice little touch there on the map. And we're gonna have to look at what we own property-wise and see how much of this forest area we do own, because if it's a lot, I don't really want to do forestry, but it might make sense to speed up our progress a little bit. All right, we're gonna drop these off right here for now. Get this unfolded. And we do have crop destruction off. That's just the way I play. And get these 2 fields sprayed, and then hopefully in September we'll be able to do that second state. And we'll see how much product we go through. Let's just double check that we are getting the application applied. It is. So we'll do field 3, and I think it's field 2. And that should help. And well, while we're in there, let's take a look. Oh, that is a decent amount of that forest there. Oh, we own the entire forest. Okay. We might be taking advantage of that a little bit. All right, the first field is done, and we got, you know, a decent amount of fertilizer left, so we probably overbought, but that'll be all right. You can just use it when we use it, and we'll get the cornfield all sprayed, and probably will have time to get the alfalfa cut this month as well. I'll see you when we're done. Well, that looks much better. So let's go ahead and take a look at our vehicles and the mowing equipment. So we need 120 and 60 horsepower. So I don't know if you combine that to 180, but I think we're going to have to stay on this same tractor. But does it have... It does have a front. Okay, so let's go ahead, turn this back on. We'll drop the... We'll have to put the front loader away. And I believe it's this barn that equipment's in, so we will swing around and put it in there. You know, I wonder... They gave us that John Deere for a reason. Let's see if it does have enough power to pull this off. This one shouldn't, though. No, it doesn't. It's 116. No way. It might get sold. And this does not have the front, so yeah, we have to use this. I don't know. Seems like underpowered equipment potentially for the starter equipment here. And we'll see if it does have enough juice to power both of these. Front lowered, we'll go ahead and get into the field. Turn it on. Oh, that's the wrong button. The front is activated. The bottom lowered, get it activated as well. Seems to have enough juice. Get this course all set up. Get our first alfalfa cut here going. And we'll probably get the tedder out and dry this up and then rake it and use that equipment that we have and see if we feel like it's worth keeping. But 14 miles an hour is absolutely a sweet spot here. Now we do have field leasing enabled on this, and I absolutely think it's something we'll take advantage of. I just don't know if we will yet. We'll get through this first year and kind of get a feel on the amount of time it takes to do things on our property, and go from there when it comes to decisions on expanding. We're definitely going to need to figure out where we want all 1,500 of our goats to live and how many different enclosures or pastures we're going to need for that. But just taking this kind of slow to get started. The alfalfa is definitely not going to yield well. We know that. Didn't have an opportunity to give it its fertilizer treatment like we did for the corn and soybeans. And kind of tempted to check on balers in the used market, because what are we going to do with all this loose alfalfa if we can't store it anywhere? So we'll check around, make sure there isn't something to store it in, and, you know, make some wise decisions from there. That'll do it for the alfalfa cut. This Fiat's pretty powerful. It's working pretty good. And it's one of those things where I got comments. This guy thinks that you only need 4 horsepower to run a tractor when I was complaining about something on the flat map. The reality is, in Farming Simulator, the PTO and the tractor share horsepower. So the recommendations are the recommendations for the horsepower. It's not like you need to have X amount left over to operate the vehicle. We needed 180 horsepower for this combined. This tractor has 180 horsepower. Over here, you can see it recommends 60. So now we only have 120 left. 120. So now there's 0 to run the tractor. Yeah, I think I made my point. It's just not, from my understanding, it's not as realistic as certain things could be. We'll just leave it at that. All right, we absolutely want to dry this before we row it up. And decent sized tedder here. We'll get that lowered, turned on, and get our field configured. 2 headlands should be fine for this. And we'll cruise around and get ourselves some dried alfalfa. And yeah, and I still don't really know alfalfa very good on this game. So we'll look at prices. We have alfalfa windrowed, and then we should alfalfa fermented. So that would be like silage. And then we should have another one, I would think. Dry alfalfa windrowed. Perfect. So 186. We'll get this tedded up. Tedded up. I don't know if that's a technical term. We will ted the alfalfa, and then we will get our big oxbow windrower out and give that a shot and make sure we have enough horsepower for that as well. Never used that piece of equipment, so that'll be fun. But I'll see you in a little bit. Well, it'll be interesting. I don't know how well this is going to yield. Like, well, I mean, in general, I just don't know how well alfalfa really yields and pays in the game. And I don't know if we're going to keep it as alfalfa. I think we're going to cultivate over this and do all 4 fields as my special secret surprise to make a ton of money the first couple of years. So we'll get the windrower out next, give that a shot, and then probably instantly sell every load of the forage wagon and hope that the sales location's not too far. We got some rain coming. We still have a decent amount of time, being only 3 o'clock here. So we should be able to get a good amount done still. And out of curiosity, what do we have a requirement here? 150. So yeah, we should be good with this. But it just doesn't seem like the other tractors have a job on the farm. So while they're worth a decent amount of money, we might get rid of them. And now this, I just don't know how much rowing we're going to do early on. Okay, we'll find out here. I've never used this before, so it should be pretty fun. Let's get this lowered. And it is activated now. Start cruising here. And it's pushing it to the side. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's how these blades would work. And so, in turn, when we turn around, we should be able to double up swaths. But boy, the yield looks terrible on this. I think we will do the headland and hope we have access to the entire headland to pick up. And not sure what it's doing with the multiple crop types there. The grass. Yeah, I'm not feeling very excited about the outcome of this crop or this harvest here with the alfalfa, but time will tell. Here's our first double swath. So it does make a nice large swath for us, which seems pretty nice. I'm not hating on this oxbow at this point. Just wonder, for the width that we have here, could we sell it and, you know, get something a little cheaper to make a little bit more money back? I don't know if I like this style. I mean, it seems... maybe I'm getting sold. Maybe I'm getting sold. I just don't like the fact that we have $180,000 invested in it. I think that's the thing that I'm getting held up on. And we got it backed up right back where it belongs. We'll take that. All right, we're learning a little bit about each equipment as we use it. This one, 130. Yep, can't use this tractor. Could use this tractor. Let's do it just to mix it up. Well, since it already has 216 hours on it, so selling these might not be worth it, but they're going to be maintenance nightmares. Now, do we want to go around the headland and pull this grass in here? Hopefully it stays dry alfalfa. And it switches to hay, you can see. And is it starting over every time too? Wow, that was weird. Looks like it is favoring just the alfalfa this time. And this is probably why I won't do alfalfa anymore. Yes, I am lazy and I cause these cuts to be bad, but even when we go perfectly on the headland, it's pulling in grass. And it should, like it technically should, because we're cutting the grass, but I just feel like you should be able to mix alfalfa and grass in here, and it shouldn't really make a difference. But it seems like this has a pretty good capacity, so we shouldn't have to make too many trips to sell our goods today. And I'm expecting, I was hoping, I should say, to at least fill this up once when we went around the headland. But, you know, 37% yield. It's always going to be the worst yield that we're going to see on the playthrough. All right, we have 26,000 liters of dry alfalfa here. Not the best price right now, but I don't think we have an option. We got to go sell it. I mean, I'll see if we can put it in our silo here, but we don't have a baler. We could have bought one for about 30,000, but I don't even think that's going to pay for itself this time around. We can store it? We will be storing it then. I will take that. So we'll be able to wait till the prices are good for that. All right, let's get it done. Makes our job a lot easier today. We just got the rest of the alfalfa picked up as the rain got here. So we'll take a look at the total in here. It was actually a pretty solid amount. And we'll take a look at time-saving stock check as well to give us an idea of what kind of money we're going to make off of it. It is 145,000 liters of dried alfalfa, which will give us $27,000. The wheat's going to give us 30,000. Well, we got some AI workers going here in September. Let's go ahead and take a look at the finance tab so we can understand what's happening here. We did have like our reset, but miscellaneous $22,000 did come out for our line of credit payment. Brings our balance down to $1,971,000. So about $13,000 in principal did come off of that. So now, I mean, if we wanted to, we could withdraw $14,000. So yeah, $14,000 in principal did come off there. So we got some fertilization going here. Hopefully everything needs limed. Yeah, they're starting with the fertilization. Over here, we could see we are getting that second application of fertilizer while we're cultivating this field up. So I have other plans for it. So that's why we're using the cultivator today. But we're going to go ahead and drive in with this John Deere. It's going to go away. We're going to get this sold. You know, 10 years getting to $15 million net worth when we're starting pretty much $2 million in the hole. It's going to be challenging. So really, we have to gain $17 million in our net worth over the next 9 years. And, you know, once we get to goats, I think it'll move a little bit quicker. But we got to figure out a better revenue stream. Those fields aren't that huge. You know, we definitely, comparing this to the chicken challenge, this is harder. This is way harder than the chicken challenge, and the goats should help us because the goats are going to bring in good money once we get the goat milk going, and the bottled goat milk specifically. But starting out, you know, in the hole, having that $22,000 payment a month, you know, oh, the fog is insane. So yeah, like I was saying, starting behind the 8 ball, and it's going to be interesting. We'll see. You know, I'm not afraid to lose challenges and show them to you guys. We're not fixing these just to win the challenges. So I hope we make some good progress. I hope we make some, a good dent in that debt this first year. Or the first 2 years, really, is what's probably going to end up on this video. I don't think it's going to happen, though. It's going to be closer to year 4 when we start really making progress. And we're in for the long game here. So the plan is to hope to have 5 episodes and do 2 years per episode. And we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we can sell here. Looks like this is set up just like the Riverbend Springs dealership, so we should just come on over here and see the trigger. Okay, so it's just hoping to get the most money out of it by bringing it back. And $41,000, so that's almost 2 months worth of payments that we'll get there. Hey, there's a boat. But making some good progress here on cultivating. This is definitely going to be a different crop type this time around, so I wanted to get that going so we could do the lime. And then we'll get this fertilizer. I'm going to actually take this job over, because I don't think there's anything else that we're going to want to sell. I think we're pretty good. We could sell the skid steer, but that could come in handy at some point. So we'll get this last pass done, and then the headland of this field, I'll get the cornfield sprayed as well. And then I'll rejoin you as we pick up the straw on the wheat field. And jumping into time-saving stock check, that tells us we'll get... what do we have the economy set at? This is crazy. It's on easy. Maybe the prices here in Michigan are a little low. No, they seem about right. I don't know, guys. These fields aren't bringing in much money. This is making me nervous that I picked, the wrong place to do this challenge. But we do have, field 47 up here, which would be nice, but it's $800,000. That's going to be the big one at 32 acres. Over here, we have a 39 acre for $1 million. Yeah, the economy is gonna play in here. Looks like we can't buy the rest of this land. Why oh, that's probably part of this, and that's that big cattle farm for 3.6. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to take this over from the worker, get this done, and then we will get to those harvests. And we're going to try to sneak over here and empty the 95%. We almost are done. Well, you know, why? I guess we started to. So I was going to say, why even put it in there? Why even put it in there? We can just put it in the silo. Let's use our big brain that we have here. Pull this out of the way for now. Is this going to open for us? Oh, it's fine. Okay, I know that gate, or whatever you want to call this metal. Yeah, we'll call it a gate, which should open for us. But already, you know, a decent amount. We're just gonna see the magic of soybeans. Already 11,000 in there, $11,000 worth, $14,000 worth. Keep on going, Massey. And they're at a peak price right now, so we could sell them. So 28,000 already from just doing the 2 headlands. Absolutely. What are we looking? 99,000 in our total value in there. Yeah, I mean, absolutely gonna crush it with these two harvests here. The corn, it's a tiny field. We'll make the best out of the situation here. I am a little nervous. We're gonna have to make some wise decisions financially when it comes to expansions and, you know, decisions that we make. Not having goats yet might be a mistake, but we'll get there. We got 10 years, 9 years after this one. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, I'm getting ripped off in real life. I'm getting, after my research, this 5% is actually a pretty good range from what I did. And I'm learning I should be making about 10 times of what I'm making off of my lease field. I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about that. I kind of want to see after this year, like we're doing a year to year, I kind of want to see, you know, if there's other farmers in town that are interested. I know they are. There's one that wants to put corn in that field instead of the hay that's there. So we're going to run with these numbers. We are going to run with these numbers. So like, for example, this one that was $900,000, like it's not a great example. This one here, you know, it's 13 acres, 1,500 a month. Pretty fair price from what I did my research. So I think we have a good plan. We're going to stick with it. Still haven't filled up the harvester again. We're at 80%, so I'm probably just going to drive over to the silo. Seems to be the easiest way with how close we are proximity-wise. And they're making a good amount of effort or progress on the tillage. Everything's on the up and up. We're coming in with our last bit of soybeans, and they're just about done with that field, which is great timing because I want to get them on this one. And, you know, they're not going to finish before the one behind me, before we finish this tiny corn harvest, but we're going to get to see what our dollar amount's going to be for soybeans. Getting the soybeans dropped off here, the last bit of them, and we should have a decent amount here, about 30,000, I believe. And we're a little short there, 26,900, but if we look at time saving stock check, it's going to bring in a whopping $100,000. Beautiful. All right, so let's see. We want to let them finish if they haven't already. And I don't see the tractor. Oh, he's back there finishing up. We'll get them swapped over to the soybean field here in a minute. Let's drop this off here and let the magic of Farming Simulator fix that for us. And let's sneak in the barn and grab the corn header. Just a tight squeeze here for this harvester. And we'll back up. Just do a little shimmy. Are we close enough? There we go. And we'll head out this door if we can fit. We can. All right, well, they finished their task. Let's hop over to them. And we'll instantly just get them started over here. So they are costing us some money, but we can handle it right now. There they go. And we can get started on some corn here. Should be a good payday as well. It's not the biggest field, but corn does pay well. You know, would be best to chop it and turn it into silage financially, but we don't have the equipment for that. We don't have a bunker either. So that would be another investment in a forage harvester. So we'll just go with, you know, traditional corn here getting sold. We'll loop around the headlands a couple times. And just like we did with the other ones so far, I'll give you guys an update momentarily. And here's our little update. We did just fill up the combine. Second time around the headland and almost done with the headland. But 8,000 liters of corn already. Not too shabby. I think we'll get close. It might be close to the same amount of corn that we got with soybeans. And boy, the semi's in the way for this approach. But I feel like this is the best route. I think it's taking me just as much time to do it this way as it would with the grain cart. Running solo right now. We'll set up auto drive and we'll get a little bit fancier later on, but the way I like to do these playthroughs is I like to do the first harvest myself. Just a personal preference. And kind of just being nosy with our finances as the corn's dropping in here. It doesn't pay as well as soybeans, but it pays pretty good still because it yields pretty good. And we didn't check on this field. I imagine it's going to be that same 82% yield bonus, and it is. Lovely. So with our first 8,000 just about deposited into the silo, that's going to be 12,000 bucks. So should turn out to be a pretty good year for us. You know, after that wheat harvest and the alfalfa was such a bad yield bonus, these other two are really making up for it. And every year is going to be better because we will try to keep around that 97% yield bonus unless we eventually buy a roller or, well, we are mulching right now. So some of these might get closer to 99% or 98%. So we'll keep cruising. And I'll give you that full update when we're done. Dumping the last bit of corn. I don't know what I was thinking we would get to about 26,000 liters. We're going to be a little bit short of that here. And I think a lot of bits short. Let's see what do we have left in here. 2,000. Yeah, we'll be about 23,000. I guess not too bad compared to the field size. Just financially not gonna help as much as the soybeans did. So 22,500. And looking at time saving stock check, we're up to $200,000 total. So we'll subtract the liquid fertilizer. We're not selling that. Corn came in at 34,000, 100,000 of soybeans, another 30,000 in wheat. Not bad. Not bad. We still have lots of bills to pay, but not bad for a start, in my opinion. And I don't like the way that was stored, so we're going to just put this next to the barn, I think. Probably get different storage long term. But the harvester's done for now. Can it sneak right here? Fold it up nice. It fits like a glove. Like a glove. All right, so they're still working on that. We're going to hop in here and buy a chainsaw. And we're going to look at our property a little bit here. Because we have some revenue streams that we need to start. So, you know, we're talking about wanting to get to $330,000, which we're going to be short because of our bills. So we're going to need to, I mean, probably another $100,000. So if we come to the edge of our property, this is what I want to figure out. Let's look at the map again. Okay, so we do not have that entirety pretty much lined up with the end of field 5. So if we safely say we start right here, let's go ahead and chop this down. 24,000 liters volume-wise, and we can get pretty low. We have the forestry helper mod, or log helper. Niche indicate mode. Cut width. Yeah, that's what I want, the regular menu here. So I want to hit C. The length of 8 meters. I think that's what I want, but then yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. An interesting mod. It's going to help us, you know, cut pieces of this wood a little bit better, but not gonna lie, we're probably gonna, I don't know how we'll move them yet. We might need to buy a bucket or something. We could try the forks with the skid steer, see if we can lift these things, get under them. That actually would probably help, but we will need a trailer, so that'll be an investment that we're gonna make here. And you can see some pieces did happen, but like, unfortunately with this mod, I think you kind of have to abuse super strength just to get things to fall a little better. Yeah, so now we should start seeing volumes or dollar amounts here. This right here alone is $6,000. Oh no, current value $4,000. So, yep, I want to keep making some progress on this while the tillage is going. So this will be some busy work that I'm doing. We'll look for a decent trailer that we can buy, to help us out with transporting these trees. But the revenue stream I was talking about, I want to free up some space for a decent amount of greenhouses. Now, it takes about 9 months to make your money back on the large greenhouse, so, knowing that we were going to do that, it probably would have been beneficial to do that right at the beginning, but that's all right. We just lost 2 months, really. And I think eventually, I want about 10 greenhouses. So there's going to be lots of investments we're going to have to make that will pay for themselves back, but knowing that we have 10 years, we're going to slowly add to our revenue stream, and long term, we're absolutely wanting to produce a lot of money every month. And this is the trailer I want to go with. It is $5,500. So we will head to the store and get that picked up. So we have we'll want to clear land to make those greenhouses, but also we want to utilize a decent amount of that forest if we can for the goats. Otherwise, we're going to have to find somewhere to lease just for our goats. Yeah, lots to think about. So this is a little different than the chicken challenge. The chicken challenge, we required ourselves to only purchase or only be able to sell things that were chicken byproducts. Where this one, we're having a free-for-all, really. We can do whatever we want as long as we hit those end goals at the very end. I do like the color changes here. Feels like home, seeing the trees change in the autumn, which is absolutely my favorite time of year around Michigan. Why I fell in love with it since I've moved from Arizona. We're up in the UP. I imagine this probably takes place in lower Michigan. Well, that's funny. The AI was stuck at the traffic light honking at the light because I think whenever their progress is impeded, they do honk. So, nice homemade trailer here. Only cost us $5,500. I think it was a good investment. We should be able to fit a good amount of logs on here. And we'll probably just do a little bit of selling here in October before we get to... Oh, he's turning. Before we get to November, and probably do the lime on all 4 fields with a worker while we work on some lumber work. I guess we can respect the traffic lights for you guys. Can't even see it in cab at all. It's green. Let's go home. So many cattle over there. That is sweet. Let's take a look. Are these actual custom? Oh, it's water buffalo. Okay. But look at them all in this. This is awesome. What a huge field for them. Well done. I like it. I dig it. Some silage bunkers there as well. That would be a cool farm to start on. Is there a back route that we can take here? Just kind of learning our farm still. Well, what are these? Is this something we can buy? Obviously they're withered because nobody's maintaining it. But there's like 1, 2, 5 greenhouses here? Can we buy plot 11? I mean, would it be opposed to leasing that? And it comes with these. And that'd be a good start. Something we'll have to think about. I almost feel like that needs to be purchased and not leased. But we should be coming right up on that tree we cut down. And I want to see, out of selfishness, if auto-loading does work. Not great. Oh, we're trapped. We're trapped. That open. Alright, head on over to this field with this, and we'll see. We should be able to lift some stuff with this. Otherwise, we shouldn't be keeping it. And the sawmill's not too far, so we'll go make a good payday here on this first load. Alright, the lumber company. Before we sell all this, let's take a look at something. 300,000 for this one, okay. I mean, there's 13,000 there. It might make sense to buy the other sawmill and wait a little bit on our canned goods production because we have such a large forest area. Definitely something to think about. And here's the shortcut we're going to be taking from now on. Right through the forest. Should lead us... Oh, we don't hit a tree. Should lead us right to that tree we're chopping down. And we'll get the rest of this loaded up. Alright, with the rest of that first tree loaded up here, let's see what we make. Another 6,500. So we're at 143. I think we're going to try to find a straighter tree this time and see if we can get a little bit more per load. Just not a big fan of those oak trees like the one we just cut down. But we got a lot of them, so we might have to just deal with it. And they're making good progress here. Looks like they're on the headlands. Alright, so let's hop to this one. It's got some limbs too that are going to be a little bit of a pain, but let's see how much these ones bring in. So that was about 1,600, I think, for that one. 20,000 from wood sold. That's not bad. I cannot get this to go away. Why? Alright, well, we couldn't figure out how to get these limbs removed. Alright, let's see what this tree brings in. Hey, that got us over 150. I think I have an idea what I want to do instead. I've seen enough to know we're not going to use this, so let's go ahead and get that sold. We'll get $63,000 back from that. And we're going to go right here with our sawmill. We'll get that removed later. But now we should be able to just buy a winch and move these over easier. But these are so close. We're going to get this populated a little bit. These branches just don't want to trim, which we don't really need to. I just wanted to kind of see a little bit better. Just move these, maneuver them a little bit. Slowly in theory. Yep, that's going good. So let's see how much that gives us. 6,000. That's enough to get this thing activated. And we will go ahead and activate all three. And I'm going to get this thing filled up, and then I'll see you in the morning. All right, we got $45,000 here in November. Let's take a look at our line of credit mod down to 1.945. We have about $23,000 available to us. So yeah, interest is coming a little slow. So we're going to get these loaded up and see what... It wasn't a full night of production, but it was definitely a good start. And if we look over here, we still have 34,000 liters, or 34,000 timber, or wood, whatever you want to say, in this game, available to us to still produce more goods. But 3 planks already. Definitely the way to go to make some cash here. It shouldn't take very long, month-wise, for this to pay for itself. And unfortunately, we did remove the feature on the network mod that adds the buildings, so we're going to lose that benefit to our net worth. And we'll take a look here at where we're tracking on that. You know, we started with 0, and that's because the buildings weren't added into that. So let's go ahead and get this on here. I'll get these all loaded up, and we'll go do our first selling event of some timber here. And join you in a little bit. And we're going to head on over to the farmer's market, which looks like it's just on the other side of these trees, which is a nice proximity. I'm sure there's a better official way to get over here. And we'll definitely want to go to this side over here. We're not going to put that in the grain bin there. And let's go ahead and unstrap. First night brought in $46,000, so I think this is our strategy to get back to that 330 that we're going to want and really help us start working on debt. I think this was a super wise move. You know, as we clear more trees, and we'll be strategically doing that, but it's not going to take much of these big trees to fill us up. We only had to cut down about 3 of them. But we will start clearing the way for some greenhouses, and I think if we do use those ones over there, we're going to have to buy that land. I don't want to lease it and use productions that are on there. So yeah, we'll keep clearing. I think we're close to being able to fit one already once we get a stump grinder in here. And definitely we'll be going for the big boys at $34,000. Yeah, so we just need to clear the way. And, you know, like 1, 2, start moving them this way, and we could definitely fit 10 around here, if not more. All right, let's see what's going on over here. We did jump ahead, so they should be... What are you doing? You just stealing my money? Yeah, sometimes me and AI don't get along. And there is a... We'll probably start using Courseplay because of that too. But we want to get lime done here in November. It'd be nice to get that ahead, so once we get to spring, we can just start planting these fields. But that's what I'm going to spend the rest of today doing, making sure we have enough wood. I'll do the calculation on the production to make sure we have enough wood in there, and then also finish this field, and then we will rejoin you when we start doing some lime. We're going to do our first store delivery here because of the amount of lime we're going to require to get through this phase here. You know, I do want to get the lime done in November. I just feel like it makes sense. You know, we could do multiple things at the same time in spring. And now that I think about it, maybe we will do it that way. We'll get 2 of them done. So let's go ahead and we'll set our store delivery spot here. So we're going to pay an extra fee to get this delivered. And we're going to max out at 8. And because we're doing store deliveries, we'll just get, you know, 16,000 liters of lime at a time. I'm going to focus on the biggest field, which I believe is 3. We'll do 3 and probably 4. And then once spring comes, we can start planting and have a worker take care of the lime on the other 2 fields while we're planting. Trying to move pretty quickly through this for you guys. This will be a fun challenge. It's going to be lots of phases to it too. Like, we're really focused on that debt. And, you know, goats will come. We do have a plan for goats. We're going to have to get 1,500 goats. And I think... I already know how much money we can make off of goats. So if we get to year 5 and don't have our goats yet, I'll be disappointed. Or don't have a good amount of our goats yet, because that's going to be really the key to making this net worth is getting a lot of bottled milk going. And just kind of completely honest, I didn't plan on doing the lumber. I didn't plan on doing the sawmill at all, but seeing how large of a forest area we have on this map, it just seems kind of silly not to. So I probably did say that in a different segment, but reiterating that, it just makes a lot of sense, and it's absolutely, we know it's a money maker. And using that, we'll probably get a winch eventually to help me when we get a little farther away from the sawmill. But right now, just pushing things around with the skid steer seems to be working. Doing a lot of that off camera because, you know, doing a lot of work off camera on this series and just giving you guys little updates here and there. That's the way I like to run these challenges. And, you know, don't know exactly when this will be released, but we'll definitely be getting back to the AI replace me after this one's released. And probably really focusing on just supercuts for a while, guys. It's where my brain's at, and it's what I really want to do with the channel, and having videos that have a lot more of a payout for you guys, and a reward of watching a longer video that has some progress in it, and not just a planting session or, you know, what do we need to get done in November. That's where my brain's at. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know if you watch these in one session or multiple sessions. I think that's always interesting to see. When I watch longer videos, it tends to be, you know, a couple sessions. I'll get about 45 minutes in and want to break from it, but I'll definitely want to finish it. Or something will pop up that I have to take care of and do. But I absolutely love long videos myself. Mostly in the sports variety is what I watch a lot on YouTube. But like I said, we'll get these 2 fields done, and then probably at that point, we can take a look at the prices. You know, some things fluctuate, some things don't. One thing that is kind of a gotcha is we don't have a way to get the straw and the alfalfa out of the silo. So we'll have to look at options for that and see what the game has, because the trailer we sold might be what we were supposed to use for that, and we might have regretted selling that, but we'll figure that out here shortly. Accidentally just went live, guys. We're about to see our first time going through a full day of the sawmill here, and just trying to get a little bit ahead. We did have a wood beam here, so just gonna lower that, get it on here, and just move it slightly over. That was probably, oh, that's not good. That's not bad. That should work. That should work. Let's get it strapped in. And what do we have in here? 32,000. So let's do some math. And looking at the production, we know, like pulling out my calculator, we're going to need a regular grain cart or grain. Yeah. Gosh dang it. I shouldn't have sold that. 200 wood times 24. That's, you know, and then I'll start adding these together. And then we have times 2. So that just doubles because that's the same. And that's the same. So plus 4992. So we need about 15,000. So right now we have 32, so we can get through 2 months. And let's start loading things up. No reason to absolutely wait. And we'll find out right now what we can and can't load in this trailer. We do have a front and... Oh, we have 3 bins in here. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's just see if these things show up. They don't show up. Did we lose our alfalfa? Or maybe it's recognizing that they can't go in this trailer. All right, so we'll get our wheat here. And a little bit more. It's going to be a full load. Oh, the graphic on there. And then we can put potentially some of the corn in here. If we're going to the same place. But we are going to jump out of the vehicle. And I'm going to sleep. And we're just going to sell in December. And let's see, did it take all the... It did get all the corn. Nice, nice, nice. So, taking a look at prices, we'll want to go up to the top here and look at wheat. Winter barley and winter wheat. Interesting. Prices showing dipped a little bit. We will go to the grain mill for that. And let's see if the corn's going to be a different place. So, we will go to the farmer's market and sell the corn first. But yeah, I want to do selling events every winter, you know, every December to kind of end the year and make it a little bit more daytime here. So we do have guaranteed crop prices on. I don't know if I have a mod conflicting with that. If I do, that's all good. So the straw and the alfalfa are the thing we're going to have to figure out. But let's cruise around here and get to the right side of this farmer's market, which has some pretty sweet lights leading into it. And we'll want to cruise all the way ahead. Dump corn, absolutely already selected. And get our corn sold here. And then we'll be going 5,000 feet to the grain mill, it looks like. By getting this first selling event going, you know, outside the planks. That was $34,000 in corn. Bringing us to $97,000. All right, long journey with our struggling semi. I'll see you guys there. Yeah, pretty cool map. There's, looking at this now, there's lots of different areas that you could purchase for forestry. And not a ton of fields. Definitely a contender for Own the Map, I think. It looks like a decent amount of the productions are over here. We have the milk production there. I imagine the canned food one's got to be around here somewhere. Haven't seen that yet, but we will be purchasing it eventually. So let's cruise up here. We'll have to change our output. Is it you? Yes, so we'll sell some wheat. And I don't think we can do both at the same time with this one. All right, we'll hit you again and get this sold. It's 19,000 for the first group. Try to get at least somewhere where we can see that on screen. $19,635. And then the rest of the wheat brings in another 11,000, bringing our grand total to 128,000. It's a start. We're getting there. And look at that. The only place to sell soybeans is across the street. So we will head that way. We do have a little bit in all 3 containers. I think I could have just put it all in the back one. I'm learning my equipment, but we definitely are cutting through our forest here, or someone else's forest, technically. But this is our big money. Should be around $100,000, which that dollar amount we're looking at, trying to get to, is 330, and we need to get to it by the time we harvest next year. So we got some time to make a ton of money off of our sawmill and maybe make other decisions, because we are going to have to buy something right now to move the straw and alfalfa. And hopefully we can find something. Big mistake on my part, but it happens. 59,000 for the first group. Second group coming in here. Should stop here momentarily. And 224,000. because of 37,000 brought in by that one, and then a little 4,000 there. So we're up to 229. Feels pretty good. All right, let's go back. We will sell all the sawmill stuff before the end of the month. Don't know what we're going to do if we have to drive over there when there's a crop in here. Technically, we probably shouldn't have to. But it looks like a good amount over there. They'll have to finish loading. But once we get this parked, we're going to definitely take a look at the store and see what our options are going to be. And let's remind ourselves the amounts so we don't, you know, buy anything too big. So 69,000. And then the alfalfa does not, I forget where that shows up. 100. Okay. We got a decent amount to move. So let's take a look. What about this trailer? It does look like it takes everything. So we could just do that and spend a bunch of our money and then also spend $2,000 on the delivery because I forgot to change the location back. But that's okay. It'll be less trips because of this. Most definitely should have just leased this. We can just sell it right away, though. That was a mistake on my part. We don't need to keep this. We're going to sell straw. Well, we won't even have straw next year, so we'll deal with that when the time comes. And this is where we find out that we can't get the stuff out of here. There we go. Let's do the straw first. It'll be 2 trips. And we're going to go to the farmer's market. I'm so sad that that animation's off there. Kills the immersion. So does straw coming out of this. And driving through the forest and the fields. I think it goes over here. Apparently I'm mistaken. Okay. It goes here. All right. Not going to be a super sexy dollar amount, but every dollar helps. $8,700. I think what we'll do is I'm going to bust through these and then, because it's going to be a lot of trips selling the alfalfa, we'll just show you the update after that. Well, I changed my mind. We're going to hold on to the alfalfa for now. You know, it could be, I assume we'll be able to feed it to the goats. So we're just going to hold on to that, and once we get goats, we'll have some feed to start off with. So the second we decide to get some goats, we're good. We're also going to head to the store with this, and we'll find something long-term for that later on. But I want the money back for this, so we are going to go to the dealership, which is right in front of us when we go this way. And we can get fuel there. That's good to know. At Buc-ee's. And let's go ahead and sell this for maximum. And then see how much we lost on our 95. Well, with the delivery fee, about $98,000 that this cost us. Yeah, it would have been way cheaper to lease it. Let's go ahead and get it sold, though. Mistakes were made. We stay true to it, but we're up to $230. Got to find another $100,000 and make payments between now and buying the can production. Sawmill sure is rocking and rolling for us. We do have 4 wood beams, or 4,000 wood beams, 4,000 planks long, and 5,000 planks. And just slide in here, unstrap. $100,000. Wow. Wow. 1 year down. Let's check our net worth, because that's going to be important in this playthrough. Looking at the net worth tracker, $194,000 because of our debt. Not bad. Not bad at all. And looking at the calendar here, for our Ps, we got to get to March. So lots of payments are going to come out in March. In January, I'm going to need to... Uh-oh, we might have ran out of lumber. Slow down, boy. But either way, I'm going to head over to the sawmill. I will probably... I'm a little nervous now. We're just going to run over there together. All of this snow, we're definitely going to just do what we can with the skid steer. Get us through March, do a huge selling event before we get to planting. Be multiple trips with that trailer, but it should be a whole ton of money if we... I can still hear it. I still hear it. 4,000 wood. We just made it. All right, I will see you guys in March. Boy, doesn't this look accurate. So we're down to $264,000 driving over here to sell 1 month worth. We might be planting in April, which is fine. But there's another 78,000, so that's an actual month worth there. Gets us basically well above that dollar amount that we needed. And we'll be able to buy seed and fertilizer and everything we need after selling all this stuff. But I think we're going to give it a little bit of time. I don't think the snow is going away in March. I mean, it doesn't in Michigan, so I don't expect it to. Let's see, can we get anything else on here? Is that about it? The auto load. All right, that's okay. We'll come back for all the long planks. Definitely the way to make money in Farming Simulator. And cruising in, unstrap. Another 126,000, boy. Might be able to upgrade some equipment here soon as well. Definitely be looking into a second field. Possibly that greenhouse area to add even more monthly revenue. All right, let's get these 7,000 planks long in. And get even more cash. And driving through, 57,000 more. Wow. Wow. Is this all we needed to do to get that net worth up? $526,000. I mean, you can see we're barely clearing any of this forest area. All right, I will see you in April when it's clean and clear to plant. Well, it's officially April and we have started planting some peas. We also have, you can see in the background there, we're getting some lime put down on our last 2 fields. So we're having a worker take care of that. And you know, slow going. We're not getting any fertilizer on this phase here, so we'll have to do that next. So lots to purchase, but sitting at $500,000 after sleeping. We got some more goods to sell. I'm blown away. You know, I've done lumber and a sawmill multiple times in playthroughs, and I'm shocked at how much we're making in it. So it is the base game one. I did validate that, and why wouldn't you do it this way? My goodness. I'm glad we didn't put the limitation to just be grass and goats. That would be pretty tough, but look at the way the lime is changing this tractor too. That is awesome. That must be the extra or the real dirt mod potentially that's doing that. Yeah, we'll definitely need to be cleaning some stuff today. We do have the pressure washer, so we'll get that taken care of that way, but time to keep making some progress here. Get these fields planted. Give you guys some fun updates as we go. Pretty fun challenge so far. Not even done with the headland here, and they are done. Well, let's hop over here with this first field. 6,000 left. We did buy a little bit overnight. There's some areas that just didn't get spread by the workers, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of those. And I think there's another one up in the top corner. Just to kind of make sure we get everywhere. I don't think 6,000 liters is going to be enough, but we're going to get all these planted, and then I'm going to debate. We're going to see how long it takes us today, and then I'm going to debate if we have time, because this is the last month to plant peas, and I possibly do want to lease something, another field, so we'll see. But we are using courseplay on this because the AI workers were failing us a little bit, so we're coming in here, we're doing one headland, and you're going to go ahead and generate the course, and then go ahead and get started. And then we can hop back over here, lock in place, and just get going. So now that we're making a decent amount of money, I might start looking into some upgrades, and we'll definitely be looking into the used market for the most part for that, trying to really get the best bang for our buck. And I think after I finish this headland, we'll take a look, because it would be nice, even though these fields are smaller, to have a bigger seeder and a more powerful tractor. Awkward shaped field first here, and boy, this fog is intense. 93% yield, or 93% of the seed remaining, and I do have a little bit back there, yep, behind us that we haven't put in here yet. So let's go ahead and take a break here. Let's take a look at the used market. 203 horsepower. Oh, I don't think we can pass on that. The 7R, got the 3-point on both sides, front and back. I can't pass on it. We've got money. Let's go ahead and buy that. Let's go back to the used market and see nothing planter wise, but now 300 horsepower. or seeder wise. So if we wanted to get something a little bigger, so right now we're working with 4.6 meters. This would get us 8 meters. I think we have to do it as well. We know we're going to make some money, so making some risks here just to make my life a little easier. And this is the tractor that oh, we paid for deliveries. That was a waste of money. Oh, I got it. Let's shut that off right now. We'll unload this, but we are going to drive this back to the dealership and get this setup here sold. So we'll get a little bit of cash back. Now, I've been doing no-till for pretty much every series lately, so I decided to not do that. And let's double check. I think that, oh, because that one is still no-till, but it does require the fertilizer still. So I think that'll be fine. We won't have to use the cultivator moving forward. So I take back what I just said. We will do that again. It just seems to be the best way I like to play. All right, cruising on in here. I was wondering how long oh, we're going to adjust the settings here. We're going to do it live, guys. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so they need refilled. That might be too much. There we go. All right, let's hop in here. We'll go ahead and repair it. We will not repaint it, but we'll sell it. We're only going to get 15,000 for this. I knew that wasn't going to be great. And repair this as well. Not worth a ton of money. Oh, they're so close. We are going to do that for Lime, the sales location, the deliveries. Buy 3 just to be safe. And then we'll come in here to nearest point. We'll actually back up just a hair. And this should be more than enough to get this job done. So we'll have 6,000. We started with about 6,000. So you can kind of tell. Plenty. So let's jump in our new tractor here. It does already have 48 hours on it, but that's not terrible. Then our new seeder. Change that to P's. 45-foot dash trailer. It's kind of cool. And we'll sneak around and we'll get the rest of these seeds picked up or put in here as well. They can hold them all. That's perfect. And we'll have to recreate our course here, which is completely fine. Recommends 2 headlands. We'll get that lowered activated. Locked on in. And we can even go 11 miles an hour. That's working pretty good. Trying to adjust this fog because it's intense. Trying to use some dev control commands, but not perfectly working for me. I'll have to look them up to completely understand how they work. But yeah, so that changed this sensitivity too. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I don't like it. Let's go ahead and hit pause, and I'm going to come back in here and we'll try that. And they did finish their job, so that's all they needed to do today for taking care of the lime. So that leaves just me to get all these fields planted. After we get this one done, we can get some fertilizer, and we'll get the worker going behind us and doing fertilizer. But now that I think about that, we aren't using precision farming. We can start getting fertilizer down on these fields. This one, that's not our field. Okay, I was gonna say, there's no lime on it. I don't remember where this was parked. So this will definitely help us move a little bit quicker. Already topped off on fertilizer. So we'll have to do this in each field in May as well. And I imagine they're going to do this pretty quick, and I am going to do just a regular worker for that. And we can get back at it. So pretty good. Looking at the fields on this one, needs limes all taken care of. Fertilizer is going to start getting taken care of, and we'll have to remember field 5. Absolutely all set. So we don't have to do fertilizer in field 5 at all. So we just have the 3 fields to do today and in May. Let's get it done. We do get a lot of questions about the mods that we use, and I just kind of want to talk a little bit about them. And if I think about it during editing, I'll show them on the screen. And that's kind of a reminder to myself there. But the one in the bottom left is called Simple Inspector. So I'm watching the liquid fertilizer level on, the tractor that's working on the fertilizer. So I know when it's time to kind of take a break and jump over there and get them refilled. And then the bottom right, we have a bunch of add-ons that is called the Enhanced Vehicle mod. That's only on GitHub from what I understand. You can probably find it on third-party sites. I wouldn't trust that one. But I will try my best to put a link in the description for those two. Those are the ones I get the most questions about. The one on the bottom right has some like GPS type functionality that you can use, and I did show that off a little bit in the flat map series. Let's go ahead and get this topped off and on to the next field. But yeah, so those are the two like big mods that you really do notice on this series. Easy development controls is, you know, what allows me to set up these series so cleanly. And then, you know, the net worth mod, there is one on ModHub that's probably a little better than mine. It actually keeps track of each year and not just like your current net worth like we have. And then the line of credit mod's mine. I don't know if there's another one, like I mentioned earlier, that compares. So those are the big ones we're using in this series. Thought I'd just touch base on that. We will get some questions. Try to get ahead of it for you guys. I don't do mod packs anymore. It's just too hard to keep track of that and do it on the spreadsheet like I used to, because it changes daily sometimes. So I don't have time for that. So I try my best to answer questions when they're asked, especially in the Discord. Link in the description. Let's get this planning done. And jumping into a little update here, we are out of fertilizer, and we're super close to being done with the fertilizer for this month. So I'm going to just take over that process when I'm done planting. We got the 2 fields in front of us done. We just have this field to finish and the small field over there to do. And I'm a little concerned that we spent too much money, but there's so much still coming in from the sawmill. So we should be good to get back to that $330,000 mark that we need. And I haven't checked on it in a while, but the line of credit has, in case we need it, almost $100,000 available to us. Trying to avoid pulling money back out of that for probably the rest of this playthrough. But we might. We did that with the chicken challenge. We went multiple years, you know, pulling money back out and going back and forth with that. The oil challenge, we did the same thing. The oil challenge, we kept paying it off and getting a bigger line of credit. So that is also a possibility that we might do on this one. But 500 liters to go. I don't know if we'll have enough for both fields. Either way, when we spend some money, we'll give you an update. Looks like we are going to have to buy a little bit of seed. And we're going to have to buy some herbicide and fertilizer. So we're going to go ahead and swap who's doing what here. I'm going to trust them. Whoops. Yeah, I guess we could fold it up for now. I'm going to trust them to do this for us on this field, the planting. Actually, no, I'm going to do it myself. Because they do, you could see they missed spots when they did the tillage. But let's get some things purchased here. Definitely will do deliveries on this. We'll do one more seed for now. And one more liquid fertilizer should be, well, we'll buy 2 because we're going to need it next month. And then we're just going to do 1 herbicide because I have no clue. But I do want to swap what we're doing for a minute at least. Actually, you know what we'll do? I'll just clean up that field if I don't like what they've done. I'll plant the spots they missed myself. And that'll allow me just to work with the sprayer the rest of the day until we do come over here and fix this up. So we will see how a regular AI worker handles this. And then we can sneak over here, get the fertilizer we need, finish this field, and then swap to herbicide because we have 3 fields that we could spray already. And, well, we're going to have an extra container, but that's all right. Once we unload this after we use it, because we're not going to use all 1,200. Just a little area to finish up here. See, we'll just have to do this little area, spin around, clean it on up, and then we'll swap out to the herbicide. And you know, I haven't done herbicide in a while without precision farming and without the see and spray, so I don't know if that full container is going to be enough, but we could always buy more. Let's go ahead and back up so we don't hit our tree here, that little spot that we missed. All right, I'm going to stay busy. Keep on giving you guys these little updates, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I believe we have everything done that we need to get done for the day, so we're going to do our daily wood selling here. We will do 2 trips. We'll come back and get the long planks after this. And, you know, start repairing the money that we've spent today. First load brings in 84,000. My goodness. What a great move. I'm still blown away. Let me get the rest of them, and then we'll head back over here. And the long planks brought in another 32,000, so we're up to 266. I don't think we're going to have an issue getting back to that 330 that we need to get to. And I'm hoping we have enough money to get some goats after harvesting. I have kind of a plan of where I want to put them, but not 100% sure we're going to be ready yet. So we're going to cut down at least one more tree. Target this one right here. Get that pushed on over into the sawmill's trigger. And I'll see you guys in May to do some fertilizer. Well, we have some early morning showers here in May. We're going to take a look at the weeds and see if we missed any areas after selling our first bit of lumber here. Bringing our total up to 317. And leave the John Deere right here because this is pretty much mostly what it's going to be doing between now and harvest. We have 19,000. We can get through another month, but we will probably add some more just to get us by. But let's take a look at the screen here to tell us how the weeds are looking. Crops are growing good. Oh, we missed a whole strip right there. Okay, well that's why I wanted to double check because it was hard to keep track. So we'll use what we have here to get this little bit of weeds that I think those are the only ones I'm really going to concern myself with. Yeah, a whole pass we missed, apparently, right here. And they're growing much better than the peas so far. Look at them little guys. They're coming in. Yeah, it's unfortunate we'll have this ugly strip in this field, but it is what it is. It's all good. After this, we'll get all of the fertilizer done for the day, and then probably going to skip ahead until harvest for you guys. Oh, look at that alfalfa we missed. Our dollar amount's all the way up to $518,000. There's all the peas that we're going to start harvesting. We've got everything sold already for today. We're tracking good. We're tracking good. We have 36,000 wood in here. Let's get the harvester all prepped. Got plenty of money to buy that production. Things are tracking exactly how I wanted it to. We'll go with the big field first, and we're going to watch how ridiculous this yield is. We're gonna have to buy a different cart, I believe, or a different, piece of equipment for the semi to hold the peas. So let's get in here. Instantly start seeing these numbers start climbing. Get a little mulching action going behind us. Almost 1,000 liter. Look at this. 200, 300. That should be an amazing yield. I don't think we'll get around the headland without filling this up. We'll get that production purchased. But yeah, we'll have to get something for the semi. We'll buy the 3-in-1 trailer that we bought earlier and sold. That was a little silly of me. There we go. We hit our first 1,000 liters there. Let's see if there's anything in the sale. There's not. So let's go to trucks and then combinations, and yeah, we'll have to get this purchased, and we'll pick that up momentarily. But we'll get this filled up. Now every liter of peas turns into 2 liters canned. So the prices don't look amazing when you look at the prices on the that you get when you compare the two. But the fact that we put 1,000 liters of peas will get us 2,000 canned peas. Really makes that, double the value that it would be. And there's no better way to explain it than me just showing you. Let's just take a look at that. So peas are going to peak at 3,400, and canned peas peak at 7,700. Am I remembering this right? So there should be one here already. Canning factory. Oh, it doesn't. I was reading something wrong. So it's about 45%. So we still do make a profit on that. But let's go ahead and hop in here and visit. Totally was speaking wrong there. I was thinking of some other production, but we got that purchased. So where are we on the map? Let's make this bigger. Oh, not even that far from home. Perfect. So about 40, it is 45%, not 200%. I'm thinking of something else. I can't remember what production I'm thinking of. Oh, that's the goat milk. The goat milk goes from 1 liter to 2 liters, which that's where we're going to get that ridiculous payday. But this should still be a pretty good profit. Now that I think about it, is it a profit? Is this plan completely flawed? Canned peas, we get the 7788 number times 0.45, 3,500. And peas are 30. I don't think that's worth it. I say we just sell the peas as is and we spend our 330, because we'll take forever to make our money back. Then we're getting our money back. Absolutely not doing that. We're absolutely not doing that. Where did we lose more money? Oh, we bought the new vehicle. Okay. Just making sure I'm not losing my mind. Yeah, we absolutely are not doing that, but we will need that other truck still to move the peas around. Well, that's anticlimactic. It's not, though, because we'll still make a decent amount of money off the peas. But it's good to know that production's just not, that's not the thing. That's not the thing to do. I don't understand why they do it that way in the game. But I'm pretty sure I did the math right there, where we would make about $30, maybe it was $60 more per 1,000 liters of peas. So that's a lot of liters before we make our money back, and I'm comfortable with saving this money and spending it on something else. And we'll be able to get a decent amount more goats that we're excited about getting. So, yep, getting around the headland here. We're going to, not even all the way. We're going to hit that 5,000 or 8,000 mark. And we could potentially save up for a bigger harvester, because that would be absolutely lovely to do these harvests a lot quicker. There we are, first 8,000. So we'll drop that. We'll head to the store, pick up the new trailer. Sorry about that, guys. I had this big old plan, and I did my research wrong, but I'm glad we double-checked it there, because that would have been just super sad. I still think peas were the right move, though, financially. They're going to yield a little better than soybeans, I believe, and pay about the same. Yeah, we'll just keep this time. I was debating leasing it, but we're going to need it. We're going to do at least one more year of peas. We'll see. Whoops, didn't mean to drive through them. We're going to see how much we make off of this harvest today, and then see if it really feels super profitable. I still think this was a good way to do it. Let's look at the sales. I don't think there's anything harvester-wise. Oh, yeah, we don't want that. But if we took a look at them, 381 would get us 14,000 liters. And then a combination of a decent-sized header. Yeah, we would need a little bit more money. 10 meters. What is our header right now? Boy, let's do it this way. Let's come in here. We're going to go after the S7. We're going to go find... We're going to pay a normal finder's fee, and if that does pop up with a decent discount while we're harvesting, we'll get ourselves a harvester. If not, we'll probably spend that money on buying the land that has those greenhouses and get that going, and also get our goats. But either way, we want an upgraded harvester long term for this playthrough. 8,000 liters already, coming up on 10,000 or 9,000. Maybe I'm trying to convince myself, but that's close to 30,000 bucks already, if we're not already there. I think we did. I think we made a wise move still. Yeah, and those of you that think it might be cheesy doing this, go ahead and Google it. Look up grain cart or harvesting pea. I just Googled harvesting peas with a combine, and I found plenty of information showing that we do that in the US. I'll keep you guys updated on how this harvest is going. Let's get it done. And unloading for the second time here. That's absolutely $55,000 already. $55,000 from the pea harvest already. Craziness. And I don't know if this header is even much wider than a normal pea harvester. All right, I'll see you when this field's done. All right, we're done with the harvest, and we're actually going to fill up the semi pretty quickly here once we start unloading, actually. So we'll have some leftover in the harvester, if I'm doing my math right. 59,400 in there and 3,600 left. That's pretty good math. That's pretty good harvest. We are going to go here. And is that not our farmer's market? It must be a different one, which is behind us. We are going to sell these right away. Don't think we can store them, so we'll be selling them if the semi can handle it. while we're slowly driving over there. I'm sure this will fill up before we get a chance to get back, but we'll go ahead and have them help us make a little bit more progress. We will start on the headland, and away they go. Very cool. I think you can buy these plots of land too. But, you know, there's always things we're going to be looking into. So let's go ahead and get these sold. First field plus another, you know, roughly $10,000 that was in the harvester already. That's at 64% full already, so we'll get back there in time. Not too far of a drive. But all of a sudden we have $668,000 after that brought in $247,000. Peas are the way, guys. Peas are the way. And sneaking over here, trying to unload them. There we go. And we will take over from here. I think we just might get over $1 million today. Probably not, though, because these fields aren't that big. We'll get close. We're on field number 3. We have the small field to go and a little bit left of field 3, and we'll show that when we get back. But we're heading in with our second load, another $200,000+. Unbelievable yield on peas, my goodness. All right, bring the money right here. We just hit $914,000. Massive, massive harvest day. I'm trying something here, not doing headlands. Kind of interesting. First time I've ever done this. Oh, we got to close the header though, or the auger there. So you can see what's left of this field, and then we have the field to the left here to go, which is the smallest. Save the smallest for last. But we'll get this unloaded. Should be hoping another $100,000 worth of peas here, and then we get to make a lot of decisions. We're going to buy some land. We're going to get some goats. We still got September through December to get to as well, or to get through for the first 2 years. And doing our last unloading of this field. We still have the other one to do, and this is definitely not sunset in the UP, so we've got to be in Lower Michigan. 7 o'clock sunset in August. That's silly. More like 10. Well, we waited till the morning because it was 8 o'clock and it was pitch dark. So a little sad that August got dark that early. So we're heading in another 53,000. We almost filled this thing back up. So we should get over $200,000 again. Definitely put us over $1 million. And then we got some plans. We got some money to spend at this point. Super exciting. Not gonna lie. This is paying a little bit better than I expected it to. So obviously no complaints. And kind of blown away by the amount of money we've made already. All right, let's see where our dollar amount is at after the pea sale. Never got our used harvester to pop up in the market, so that was kind of sad. Another $221,000 there. We're at 1.1 million. We're rocking and rolling, guys. And selling our sawmill productions. Second trip here already. We're up to 1.2 million. Let's take a look at the finance tab a little bit here. So yesterday we sold products 181,000, that because we skipped July. Between the two harvests, you know, 500,000 pretty much in August, and then 220,000. Boy, over a $700,000 harvest season. And let's do a net worth check at this point too. 1.4, just about 10% there already. Well, I wanted to see how high we could get the dollar amount before we started spending money, but I want more revenue streams. We need them. So let's take a look at the map here. It comes with a field, but let's go visit over here. $200,000 to spend. And yeah, we probably won't even use that field, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greenhouses, huh? That's half of what I wanted. This seems priced wrong. Let's go ahead and buy it and get all of these productions going, or the greenhouses going. So we'll come in here and we need a mod. We need a mod. Automatic watering for animals in greenhouses. How does this work? Overlaps objects. So I think we'd want to put it... We'll try it on this one. I think we're going to have to hit B. And we'll go ahead and see how this works on... Which one was it right here? Building input shows full. It does. Okay, so, you know, it's always lettuce. It's always lettuce. So we'll put one of those at each greenhouse. Cost us $5,000. Did it cover the other one, though? Just to see. It did. Did it cover these ones? Oh, we just have to place this once? Interesting. So we'll get lettuce activated on all of these because they pay the best. So we have 5 greenhouses. Search came in too. Got to take advantage of that. We'll go ahead and buy that just so we have it. So we spent some money. So we got some greenhouses going. We got 5 greenhouses, which are going to produce a ton of lettuce for us. And we spent $5,000 on that mod. I don't know. I just wanted to try it out, see how we like that. Now this alfalfa field for $241,000, we're absolutely buying. And this is my plan for our first location for goats. So let's go ahead and start working on the plan for that. Now I saw this video, and I want to see if this still works. Apparently you plant grass. I can't remember if you let it grow, so we are going to let it grow. And in turn, we should be able to get a ton of meadow for the goats. So we're going to plant right on top of the alfalfa. We're not going to worry about fertilization. We're not going to worry about lime, because we're just going to plant the grass, and we're going to put our first pen, and we're going to get a barn for that in that location. And in theory, unless it's been fixed in a patch, it was an older video, it should get us a ton of meadow. So where we almost don't even have to worry about feeding the goats. Which in reality is what I would want. Anyways. Alright, so let's get this hooked up. And this is no-till, so yeah, we should be able to just plant the grass right on top of this alfalfa. We could have made money off of it. We could have harvested it, but I don't think it's necessary if this is going to work. Still have $526,000, and based on what we bought, net worth is still at $1.4 million. So we didn't lose much. We do have that harvester. We'll sell ours. We'll have to get a header, but we have time to do that. I just want to get that purchased and out of the way. We'll have to make sure if it doesn't need repairs either. But we're going to get this planted. We will then make sure the sawmill has all the goods or has enough goods to get through a month. We'll get the grass to grow in October. And we're going to get our goats. I'll see you then. Well, the grass is growing. We have $500,000. I'm not 100% sure if this works before the next state, or if it works at all anymore. This could be completely patched, but we're going to go with the basic, cheapest pen to start with. And we'll give it a little room to breathe here. And do a custom fence. And try to really go real slow around this entire outline. And we're going to see how many sheep this one's going to hold. And by sheep, I meant goats. So we'll get 290. That's not great. We're going to be making our own modification to this. This is going to hold 3,000 food, which isn't really going to be that great. But let's go in here. We want to go down to the 8-month-old ones. We'll buy 250. That leaves us a decent amount of money. We'll go ahead and buy the remaining 40 that we can do. And we have 290 goats. We'll get our alfalfa here, our dried alfalfa. We're starting to make this nice cut through here with wide open with all the trees we've been cutting down. So we'll eventually make this nice and paved since we do own all of this area now. Our properties connect through here. So the big problem, and I wanted to see about that watering trick we're doing, but let's go ahead and get food in here. Is it going to take it? There we go. Now I thought that said water for both. Let's see if I can find that mod again. Alright, let's see if we can just place this down here somewhere. Get our plumbing going. And that did work. Okay, so water is going to be fine here because we have our plumbing hooked up. But feed is only 3,000. That's why we want to make our own custom one. I probably want to just modify this to allow more feed. And we could have bales just sitting here. We know we've done that trick, but this one should work as well. So now let's leave this here. I don't remember if you need it running or not. But we'll leave that there, and I'll skip time slowly when the time comes. But over here we have, gosh, just a little bit more wood needed, so I'll do a couple more trees. This path is looking pretty much wide enough, so we'll go ahead and attack these ones here. get the skid steer to move it over. And then we're going to make it November, see if we got any milk. But I'll probably slowly go through time and see what's happening there. I did make a modification to the map. The map has to where the animals all require root crops. And I decided I didn't really want to play that way, so let's see if I can show you. There's an XML file called Animal Food XML, and I went ahead and it was similar to it was similar to this one here. With the weights and everything, we're a little bit different, but for sheep, I went ahead and changed the production weight to 1 for grass, which includes all of these crops right here, and then the eat weight to 100 because it also required root crops and silage for the sheep, which I understand what the map maker was doing there, just not how I wanted to play, and kind of wish that was something that was configurable or was just a mod that was suggested to be used with the map. I get it. You want to make your own things, make it a little bit more realistic, but was not the plan for this playthrough at all. So I'll slowly get this moved over there, and eventually we'll get a winch because I've been being lazy, but we will get that at some point, and I think that's probably pretty good there, and then we'll have to go over here and turn it a little bit if we didn't go too far yet. That should be a better angle now. Well, that might actually be in. Looks like it probably is. 32,000, that'll get us by. Okay, so we are going to have time kind of just go, and I want to see if this is going to autofill. It is. Now, what I don't know is if it does that overnight, like while the night is skipping, because they're like, if you see it real slow, they're eating almost 2,000 an hour. So the night has changed. It is dark, but we do have 90,000 meadow, and they are preferring to eat that now, even though it's November. So it's dropping instead of the food. Another hour should pass, and we'll see the meadow number go down. So that's working good. All right, so this is working good. It's November. And over here we all, excuse me, we do already have 1,000 plus 208 milk. So our 290 goats, they're doing their thing. Let's go see how the greenhouse is doing. Hovering over here, about 8,000 lettuce. This one's almost 8,000. Not sure why they're not the same amount. I guess the little bit of time between when we activated them. But these have 8,000 as well. Over here, 8,000. So with our little bit of money, I think I do want to buy another semi. This one I want to go with the... let's go with the black. That looks nice. And then I want to get this... Well, I think there's a cheaper one. This $30,000 45-foot trailer. We'll get the harvester home once we need it. No reason to rush it home. But we're starting to get so many more pallets that we're gonna really want to start using this a little bit better and load them all at once for one selling trip. Especially if we start going multiple months without selling pallets. Nice to see the new enclosure for the goats here. At this point, we can change the output type of lettuce to spawn on all of these. We are using auto loading, guys. So 40,000 liters, or just 40,000 lettuce. And I've already lost where our little drive-through is. We'll have to actually decorate that with some gravel or something so we can recognize it a little better so we're not driving through the forest like this anymore. And it would be nice to clear the way a little bit better here so this approach isn't as rough as it is. Get a little bit farther over for these planks. And we hit a few of them. Is that going to say it's full? That's okay. We'll do one trip here. We'll come back for the rest of those. So this was, I believe, 2 months worth of lettuce. And probably 2 months worth of the sawmill production as well. Let's make some money here. A nice $300,000. Oh boy, guys. I think we're on the pace to win this challenge. And I think it'll be less than 10 years, but we'll find out. The goat's milk, 100,000 liters of that's going to be tough. Getting enough goats is going to be another challenge. Feeding the goats will be part of the challenge too. All right, selling the rest of the wood here. Another $66,000, so we're up to $578. And we're going to hold on to the goat's milk. until we get the production for that. I mean, we could afford it now. Well, we'll let it build up. We'll let it build up a little bit. We're going to get through one more month. Nothing really that we're going to do on the field. So we're just going to double check that we do have enough wood in here. And everything else should be good. We need just a little bit more. So we will cut down one more tree and get that moved. And I will see you in December. In our December selling event, we are going to have to move the goat's milk just so that it doesn't like overpile and max out the amount of milk. So we're going to have to figure out where we're going to store all that before we get to production. But we're going to sell the lettuce and lumber from December here, or halfway through December, as it's about, almost 1 o'clock here. There is 1 o'clock. Another 188,000. We're cooking, guys. We're cooking. All right, let's go ahead and get the skid steer. We'll get this back to the farm. We'll get the skid steer, and we'll move the milk around, and we'll see how much we have produced already through an entire, couple months of having goats, and double check that we have enough of our alfalfa in the semi for now. Man, good progress for 2 years. Oh, it looks like we were getting close over here. That's ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to get storage for these, because we're gonna produce a ridiculous amount of goat's milk. And we do happen to have a dairy right across the way. Right there, which we probably will be purchasing beginning of next episode. But I wanted to just get the dollar amount really as high as possible without spending anything else, to have a good start here, with the net worth specifically. With all the goat's milk moved, all we have to do is take a look at our net worth right now and see how we're tracking. Showing $1.8 million, well on our way to $15 million. The debt right now is at 1.7. We'll definitely get that down pretty quick next episode. We might get out of debt in years 3 and 4. I'm Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next one.